All right. So this is my improbable dream, right? What if it's 50 million black people in America, right? So if every black person in America donated $2 a day, every day, you know, for the rest of their life, that would be $100 million a day, and divide that amongst 1,000 people per day. Those 1,000 people are in a raffle where that was their one time. They only get it one time, but that's $100,000 for 1,000 people per day. Now, it would take forever to do the whole population of black people in America. So, but however, those who do get the $100,000, let's set up a system where they either have to pay off their debt, they have to buy land, or they have to build a business. These are the only three things that you can do with this. So once you get that money, if you're building a business, okay, well, you helping your fellow brother, you helping another black family. So you put money in their pocket by generating money through your business, right? If you're paying off debt, you're freeing up money in order to spend with your brother, to add more to the pie, to give charity, donation, whatever. But eventually, with that type of a system, even though it would take hundreds of years to pay everybody $100,000 at 50 million people, $100 million a day. It would take a long time to pay everybody. But with the right people getting that money and turning it into a business, or turning it into an investment where they self-sustain certain things in their communities, eventually we lift ourselves out of poverty by ourselves with the current system, without a reparation. That is our own reparation we do for ourselves. So the only problem is it's very hard, very difficult for black people to stick together. But I foresee a day here very soon that black people are going to have to stick together, because ain't nobody else going to be there for you, right? So I'm not wishing ill on this country. You know what? This country's done a lot of ill towards black people, but this is all that we have. So you understand what I'm saying? We can go to other countries, but you're still going to be under European, rulership in proxy. So it don't matter where you go in the world, you still got to face that situation. So here is just as well good as anywhere else. Because if you even go to Africa, okay, you may see a black figurehead as the leader of that country, but trust and believe there's some white guy in France or Europe that's really controlling the system by proxy, because they have the cash money, which don't make sense. But hey, that's the Africans. The way that they function is they've always seemed like they never wanted to take their own resources and really sell them, or they couldn't, because somebody would wage a war against them. The European would fund this other nation to fight this nation, and now it's the history is convoluted, and it's detrimental to our people. But what I'm saying is, we can, here in America, being probably the richest and the most educated of the African peoples, begin to build a situation where we can pull ourselves out of poverty as pretty much a whole. Now, everybody won't. There's going to be poverty, because there's people who won't get up and work. It just is what it is. There's going to be a certain level of poverty in any system. Some people have disabilities. Some people have mental issues. Some people are just lazy. That's going to be it's built into any structure, except for a complete and utter, communist system, which I'm not even opposed to communism if it's under my own kind. That's not being steered by someone else, right? I think communism would be a great idea for black people, but we'd have to own and control it. Because if somebody else owned and controlled it, you would never receive anything. They would enrich themselves become little tyrants and still keep you at the bottom, right? But if you got benevolent black people who are thinking, forward thinking, even a communist system would work for us, right? And that's the whole premise of putting your money into a pot and then distributing it amongst your people. That's communism, right? That's our communal system. So with that, you see how America is already using the communist system, but they only use it for their own. They don't distribute wealth. That's what taxation is redistribution of wealth. So we don't really get any of the real money, right? They always complain about welfare and welfare queens and all that. But what we get as a form of welfare, which we all pay who have jobs put into that. I pay a lot in taxes, bro, a lot. But anyway, we all put into that system and then it's redistributed to our people. Now, everybody wants to complain about it, but we pay for taxes for services we never receive. We don't get help from the police, the government. We don't get the tax benefits. We don't get the benefit of our businesses being connected to the military industrial complex, and that military industrial complex can go to other nations, conquer them, and now we can come in and set our businesses up thanks to the taxpayers. See, this is how war works, right? So the businesses come in and then they're able to generate income from other places, so from other countries. They can bring that wealth back to home and then they redistribute it to their own people. So really, taxation in itself is white welfare, if you really want to be totally honest about the situation, because it doesn't really benefit us. What we spend, what the country spends in welfare for black people in particular, is so minuscule to everything else that they have on the budget that it's like, why are we even talking about this? Why are we even talking about this if we're 12, 13%, 14%, I think is the latest numbers of the economy? And that portion of welfare is coming to our people, whether it be mothers with children or elderly or whomever. It's so small that it's like not even on the radar. But they use that as a talking point in the news. But it's really just a tactic to get us thinking in ourselves, like, oh, hey, I don't want to be a burden on the blah blah blah. No, they're the burden on the system. They got us convinced that it's us. But anyway, black people need to start forming a communist system amongst themselves. I don't know how that works. I don't know how to quarterback it, so to say, but I know that that's what needs to happen.